Hello and welcome to another episode of Love Aptitude Tests. This is your host, FBA Pageboy. Tonight's topic: the psychology behind black folks playing the long game. Let's go deeper. When we talk about black people playing the long game, I'm meaning against obstacles set by the system of white supremacy. We're talking about a philosophy of survival, resistance, and future building that's unlike anything the world has ever seen before. Let's break it down further from a historical and spiritual standpoint. From survival to strategy. Initially, for our ancestors, survival was reactive. It was about literally staying alive under imaginable violence, forced labor, rape, family separation, legal dehumanization. But even in that brutality, enslaved Africans and Native Black Americans were strategizing, learning to read in secret, using spirituals like wade in the water, follow the drinking gourd, to communicate escape routes in the slave trade. Working slow on plantations. That's the original quiet quitting. To resist without open revolt when revolt meant certain death. Even enslaved people played the long game. They said, "You may own my labor, but you will never own my mind, my soul, or my future bloodline." Post-emancipation, dreaming beyond immediate freedom. After freedom, if you could call it that under black codes, many white folks assumed black people would crumble without slavery. They thought we were unfit for freedom. Instead, black people built towns, newspapers, businesses, churches, historic black colleges and universities at warp speed. Politicians like Hiram Revels and Blanche K. Bruce were elected to U.S. Congress during Reconstruction. Inventors like Granville T. Woods and Elijah McCoy made technological advances that moved America forward. That wasn't luck. It was deliberate, long-term planning. Invest in land. Invest in education. Invest in self-sufficiency. Even while knowing the backlash, whether it be KKK terror, economic sabotage, racist laws, all of that was coming. The motto was, plant seeds today. Even if I don't get to eat the fruit, my children will. Black excellence in the face of constant moving goalposts. Every time black people reached a new height, learned English, bought property, got educated, the rules changed. Literacy tests, poll taxes, zoning laws, mass incarceration, an example. The system kept moving the goalposts. And every time black people adjusted and re-strategized, creating our own fraternal organizations, sororities, and mutual aid societies, forming unions when they wouldn't let us in theirs, carving our own spaces in music, sports, film, and business. We understood if they block one door, build another. If they burn it down, build it again, stronger. That's long game thinking. That's intergenerational warfare, fought with tools of faith, culture, wit, and grit. Spiritual power, trusting in the unseen. Playing the long game also meant believing in a future you couldn't yet see. Enslaved Africans and Native Black Americans sang songs about crossing Jordan and seeing Canaan land. Metaphors for both heaven and freedom. They weren't naive. They knew freedom might not come in their lifetimes. But hope, radical black hope, was its own form of resistance. As our late great, revered civil rights leader, Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. said, "The arc of the moral universe is long, but it bends towards justice." Black people have been the ones bending that arc. By holding on, fighting smart, keeping the faith, even when logic said otherwise. Today, the harvest of centuries of patience and planning. Now, we're seeing the fruits. You see black billionaires, black-owned media platforms, black political leaders at every level, cultural dominance worldwide, whether it be hip-hop, fashion, sports, entertainment, and film. Growing movements for reparations, land ownership, and self-governance. But the long game isn't over. It's generational. It's understanding that success doesn't mean ease. It means a bigger responsibility to continue lifting as we climb. Because white supremacy adapts too. It tries to co-opt, commercialize, or even dilute. So the black long game must always adapt too. Investing not just in personal wins, but in community, infrastructure, land, and culture that lasts beyond any one person's lifetime. In short, white supremacy thought it could bury us. We played chess while they played checkers. We weren't just fighting for a better today. We were fighting for a black forever. When you talk about the history of black people in America, FBA, Foundational Black Americans especially, we are talking about a people who have been forced to master the long game. From the first kidnapped Africans and Native Black Americans chained to the hulls of ships, we were thrust into a rigged system. White folks built obstacle after obstacle at every angle. Slavery, black codes, Jim Crow, redlining, mass incarceration, police brutality, voter suppression, media demonization, educational sabotage. Every institution you can think of was weaponized to keep black people boxed in, shut out, or wiped out. Yet, we never disappeared. We endured. Playing the long game for black people has meant understanding that change often comes slowly through relentless pressure, strategic patience, cultural genius, and an unbreakable spirit. It's meant fighting battles we knew we might not win in our lifetime, but pushing anyway so our grandchildren might have a better shot. Even when it felt like every system is against us, black people always found ways to build power over time, slowly but surely. Playing the long game has always meant memory, never forgetting how we were wronged, but refusing to let bitterness destroy us. It's knowing that vengeance in the short term might feel good, but real freedom, institutional, intergenerational freedom takes strategy, not just anger. It's why so many of our movements come in waves. Freedom rides, black power, hip-hop activism, Pan-Africanism, the reparations fight. Each generation picks up the baton and runs farther, because we knew the finish line ain't just for us. It's for everybody coming behind us. When you see black entrepreneurs, tech founders, and landowners quietly building empires, that's the long game paying off. When you see us pushing for reparations while still creating new art, new businesses, new realities for ourselves, that's the long game in motion. While America threw everything it had at black people, trying to break us, bury us, erase us, we responded with patience, creativity, memory, endurance, and faith. We're not just surviving anymore. We're planting roots so deep that no storm can pull us out. The long game was never an option for us. It was a given. It was survival. Now, that's our legacy.